Good morning, everyone. My name is Duncan Gilman. I'm the Dean of Students for Splash Media U, and I want to welcome you to this webinar about using LinkedIn as your personal assistant. What we're going to be doing today is covering a few tips for LinkedIn use on the CRM side, the customer relationship management side, or the networking side, if you will, if you use LinkedIn for networking. These are things that if you're familiar with LinkedIn, if you use LinkedIn, you may already be doing, and I hope you're doing at least one or two of these things, but it always helps, I found, to put things in perspective and be reminded of the things that are important to keep up with on a weekly or monthly basis. The second part of today's webinar is we're going to take a look a little bit at Splash Media U and our certification program. Some of you may be familiar with it. I sent an email out letting you know that we'd be talking a little bit about what the program offers and how to approach it from a student standpoint. This is just a brief overview. We actually cover our full program in an orientation on Wednesdays. So tomorrow, same time, feel free to join us right here again on our Google Plus page for a full tour through the program. But today we're just going to cover a couple of highlights. So I want to be respectful of your time. We may or may not take the whole 30 minutes, but I want to go ahead and get started. If you would like to ask questions, I welcome them. I would love for you to ask questions about LinkedIn, especially today. But if you have some social media questions, I'd be happy to take a look. And if it's something that needs a little bit more of a detailed answer, we can always answer those off the air. If you're watching on Google+, there should be a little tic-tac-toe type icon at the top of the window there. It's a little 9 white square icon. If you click there, there should be an option for Q&A. I'm going to do the same thing here and make sure that my Q&A panel is open. So now if you click that little icon, you should see an option for Q&A. Click that, and then a question answer panel should open up. That is where I invite you to ask your questions, and I will answer them at the end of the webinar. So what I recommend you do is go ahead and, as you think of questions, put them in there so that you don't have to stress over remembering what your question was at the end of today's program. So go ahead and put in questions as you think of them, and then when I come back to the screen to address you directly, you see my face looking back at you, then I can answer those questions. Without further ado, I want to go ahead and get started. I'm going to switch my screen to share my desktop with you. So you may see it flicker. It looks a little strange at the beginning here on Hangouts, but it'll look a lot better when I get that other screen up and running. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. Again, it's going to look strange for a second here until I get my main presentation up, and there we are. Again, these are just 3 quick tips that you probably are familiar with. And this is just a recap of those and maybe a little bit more detailed instruction if you know about these LinkedIn features, but maybe don't necessarily use them on a regular basis or use them to their fullest capacity. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these. My 3 best LinkedIn recommendations for making the most efficient use of your time on this platform are the saved searches, the notes and reminders for individual contacts and connections, and then the publishing platform, which is a great complement to whatever you might be doing on a blog or Facebook Notes or other long-form content publishing platforms. So we're going to go into each one of these individually, and what I'm going to do is highlight each one by showing you on LinkedIn where it's located and how you can access it. That first one is saved searches, and these are really easy to find. They're right up here in the search results page. Here, save search, and also in your settings icon there. Let me show you that again. So here I was on home. And this is just a sidebar. When I'm doing searching on LinkedIn, I like to just start with a fresh, open search page. I don't like to put anything in here to begin with. I love just putting nothing in the search bar, just clicking the search button, and then narrow it down from here, because I guess partly it's my own ego. I like to see, oh, here are my 2 million network connections. These are not, by the way, you can't have 2 million first-degree connections. When you see this number, and this number for everyone is rather large because it always includes first-degree connections, second-degree connections, and group members. I only have a few hundred, maybe 1,000 first degree connections. But because of my connections, which are called second degree, and because of the people who are sharing the same groups that I'm in, that number is bumped up to 2 million. So you'll probably find that your number is fairly high as well. But I like to start my searches from this broad view and then narrow it down there. If I just want to look at first degree connections, or I just want to look in a certain location, I just want to look at a certain company, industry, etc. Once I find what I'm looking for, I can then save that search, and I can look at my saved searches with this little settings icon here. You can see I'm in the Portland area now, and I've got marketing in the Portland or PDX, the Portland area. And this is sent to me on a weekly basis, and I can customize that. So let me walk you through that from the very beginning. So here I am on my search page that I love to start on. Let's say I'm looking for people in nonprofit management. Let's say I make a software that's specifically designed for the nonprofit sector. So what I can do first, just to start off with a relatively small audience, I can broaden it out as I need to. And the other way is fine too, if you want to start broad and narrow it down. Either way works. But I'm going to start a little bit smaller and only look at first degree connections. And I'm going to go down here to industry and add, oh, it's already on there. I could add nonprofit if it wasn't already there, but nonprofit is there, so I'm going to select it. So now I'm looking at nonprofit people in my first degree connections. Let's say I want to reach out to people I'm not connected with, or I want to be aware of who is now in the nonprofit sector in my region. Let's say it's a local product that I offer, but I'm still targeting nonprofit management. So what I can do is take this to third degree plus everyone else, take off my first degree connections. So this is basically looking at everybody in the nonprofit role, in nonprofit organization, but I can also narrow that down to my current area. So I'm going to, and Portland's not currently listed, so I'm going to add Portland, Oregon area. So this narrows it down to about 14,000 results. And it's quite a large pool, but if I want to be notified of new people who enter this pool and updates to this list, I can save this search, just like I have my previously saved search. So I click Save Search. It'll open up that Save Search window, and I can say non-profit in PDX. Then I can change my alerts to never. These are emails that you receive from LinkedIn. So if you never want to be emailed about this search, you can click never. If you want to be emailed on a weekly or monthly basis with updates, you have those options as well. And then just create. If you want to delete any of your saved searches, all you have to do is click the little red X there, and you can delete any of these searches that you have running, because this will be emailing me on a weekly basis, showing me updates to this nonprofit in Portland list. So that's my first tip, is save searches. It's so handy to be able to see at a glance who comes up new, or who's new at a company, or who is who's new in a certain area. If you like to network with people from a lot of different sectors, find out who's new in your area. Find out who's new in a very small defined area. So it's just extremely helpful to be able to save those and come back to them quickly like that. So I'm going to close this, go back to our presentation here and on to the next item. The second thing I recommend setting up, and again, these tips are about making your time on LinkedIn more efficient. We have limited time in the day, and if you're working in other platforms in social media, you've got to spend time in Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and WordPress. You've got to spend all this other time, let alone covering, talking to prospects and talking to clients. I mean, I'm just talking about social media now, but you've got the rest of your work to do. So this is all about making the time you spend on LinkedIn as efficient as possible. And these are some of the ways you can automate that process so that you don't have to necessarily log in and out several times a day. The second thing is setting up reminders. This is a very helpful way to keep up with your network. If you don't know some of these features here, LinkedIn can act as a CRM software in a sense for you, because it's a way of organizing your contacts, a way of organizing and keeping track of what your connections and what your prospects and what your colleagues are doing. And what you can do is set up a a reminder to prompt you to reach back out to a prospect or a colleague to touch base and find out what's new, and really just touch base again to find out if there are any opportunities to collaborate. I'm going to just search for a colleague here. I think I'm do it this way. There we go. So this is a networking colleague of mine, actually a former coworker, and I like to keep in touch with her, and I want to make sure that I don't forget to email her every once in a while and see how she's doing and see what kind of project she's working on. So right down here in the second tab area, you see things that are specific to you. A lot of this, the majority of her profile page is going to be things that she's edited, that she's is showing to the public. This is her background, this is her education. These are things she has put on her profile. This top section this is the relationship tab. This is a section of information that's very specific and editable by me because it concerns our relationship. So I can add a note here. I can say, saw her at the trade show and we spoke about an upcoming project in the fall. I can say how we met. I can say, and in fact I did, I said we worked together, started the same day at the company. I can include a tag for her, and I've tagged her as social media marketing. I can add a new tag. I can manage my tags from here. The thing I wanted to show you today is the reminder section, which is such a helpful little CRM tool that I don't know if you're aware that LinkedIn offers. And you can even customize your reminder and add a note in the reminder itself to cue you about what it is you're supposed to be talking about. So let's say my reminder could be ask Mindy about her consulting project in October. So let's say she's got a consulting project coming up in October and I want to touch base with her, make sure it's going okay. I can remind myself in a week to touch base, or in a month to touch base, and see how this thing down the road is coming. I can also set this up as recurring and say that every month between now and October, I can get just a little alert to myself to remind myself to reach out to her and see how things are going. But this could be anything. This could be a touch base on possible collaboration. This could be anything you like, and then you can set it up for a specific date or recurring so that you touch base every quarter. It's a great opportunity to that's a nice mid-range communication, is every quarter touch base and see how your prospect is doing, what their needs are, if anything has changed, see how your network is doing, see what people are up to, see what kinds of projects they're working on. Great way to stay up with your network. And then you just click save, and it creates that alert for this individual connection. The last thing I want to cover, and we're about halfway through our time together, so I want to make sure I get to the program as well. Last thing I want to cover is the published platform. Now, this won't necessarily save you time on LinkedIn, but it will help get your connections and their connections aware of you and your expertise and your knowledge base. It's just a fantastic way to share your knowledge and expertise on a particular area, because it offers long form publishing in the same way that a blog would. And so I recommend that you take your great material that you're putting out on your blog, which I hope you're doing, and you're adding it to the LinkedIn platform just like this. And I'll show you how to do that. Right from the home screen. Now this is different. The post publishing is something that was offered out to the general public only in the last, let's say, 6 months or so. You could always share an update, but publishing a post previously was only available to celebrities and influencers. It had a limited access, but is now available to everyone. But it's different than just a regular short update. This kind of status update is just a quick little sharing an article that you found, or a quick little note, as opposed to a post, which is a long form. As you can see, it totally reloads the page. A long form article entry here. And these are found on LinkedIn's publishing platform called Pulse. In fact, there's even an app for your phone, for your mobile device, that's dedicated just to this news platform. And your article is shared among other articles from Time and Forbes and Inc. and all these other influencers and publications. Your article can be out there among those just by adding it here as a published piece of material. And just as I sort of mentioned as we've gotten to this page here, it offers a lot of the same capabilities that a blog would. You can see you can add a nice big cover photo, header photo here. You have an opportunity for a great, if I can spell, great big headline right up here at the top. And then you've got even some text formatting options for headers, quotes, links, bold, italics, justification, bullets, numbering, adding imagery, adding embedding even. You can embed HTML here and things like videos. And it's just a wonderful opportunity to get your knowledge out there. That's what you're doing. You're sharing yourself, really. You're selling and sharing yourself as an industry expert, someone who's knowledgeable, someone who's worth taking that next step and reaching out to and talking with about your industry and your products and services. And you can see what this looks like. I've got a couple on here over on the left. You can see my own previous posts. Let's take a look at this top one. So here I can see one that's already published, and I can come back and edit it if I need to, but this one's already published and out there, and you can see I've done some of that formatting here. I've got some bold text here, bold again here. This is actually an interview, so I've got, that's why I have that it's set up like that. I've got a link here, some bullets at the end, some tags at the bottom. You can add tags to help give some relevant context to this post that I published. I'm going to go back and show you what this looks like on your home screen. Go back. So not only will you see updates here and published posts here on your feed, you can also I'm going to go to my profile and show them and see them there. So right here on my profile, I can change my view to how the public sees me, and I can see down here my publications. Oh, no, maybe I can't. Oh, I could be wrong. Let me go to, I'm going to go to connections here. There we go. They're available to connections here at the top. So posts here at the top of the page, published by Duncan, and you can see these three available here. And you can see how each one is doing by clicking. This is not the editing screen, but I can see, click into each. This is the same one we looked at before, but I can see some stats on it. I can see this one got nice number of views, some likes, and one comment on there. And from here, I can share it out again. So let's say if this post is still relevant, a week, a month down the road, and in this case, this one might be, it's just about a checklist for your job search, I can tweet it out again. I can put it on Facebook, even put it as a LinkedIn update. So a great platform, not necessarily, again, this last item, not necessarily to save you time on LinkedIn, but to save you time in content creation. Take all that great content you're doing for your website and your blog, for white papers, to put it on LinkedIn, and in the long run, save you time by having people reach out to you. The more you can get out there this way by providing your expertise, the more people will come back and approach you about possibly collaborating or working together. We've got a little over 10 minutes to go. Thank you so much for setting aside half an hour for our webinar today. I want to go ahead and give you just a brief overture of the Splash Media EU Master Social Media Certification Program. One of the courses we cover is LinkedIn, and we cover things like connections and reminders and notes and publishing and all the things that we talked about today, but in much more detail. And of course, many more classes in addition to the 3 topics that we talked about. I want to introduce you to a strategy called the tactical wheel that we developed as a way to build our curriculum in our social media certification program. And this will make a lot more sense when I show you the program itself, but this is just a quick introduction to how to approach any social media platform. Let's take LinkedIn, for example. LinkedIn can quickly become overwhelming if you don't have a plan in place for approaching the platform. So we recommend a 5-stage process that continues to build on itself as you get more familiar and more comfortable with the platform. First, it involves listening. Then it involves building a community of followers. Then it involves broadcasting to those followers, developing original content that people love to share and interact with, and then converting those followers into customers or clients. And this is a strategy that can be applied to any social media platform. It's the reason that we've put this together in this format, is so that we can take the courses that we offer and use this as modules to show you the information and to teach these courses. But it's the same process that you can use to approach any new platform, even those that we don't offer. We don't currently have courses yet on Google Plus or Snapchat, for example, but you could take the same process of listening, building community, broadcasting content, and conversion and apply it to those other platforms. So let me show you just quickly around our school here. This is the Splash Media U homepage, the student dashboard. This is what you see as if you would log in as a student. You've got your courses laid out down the page, also up here in the course drop-down menu. So you can see the student is enrolled in Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, blogging, and YouTube. And each of these courses breaks down by the tactical wheel. So for example, in the Twitter course, we break it down by how to listen for prospects, how to listen for potential customers on Twitter, how to build a community of followers from those prospects, from those strangers, how to broadcast, how often to tweet, when to tweet, what kind of material is most appropriate for your audience, developing original content that they would want to share and interact with, and then finally converting those followers into customers. You'll notice at the top, we do provide a section that just covers the, I'm sorry, I went a little bit too far at the top there, that just covers the basics. So if you're new to the platform, this is extremely helpful. So you can find out how to tweet, how to retweet, how to follow, what a hashtag is, all those things covered in the basics section. We provide a basics section in each of the courses. So basics for Facebook, basics for LinkedIn, and then we dive right into the tactical wheel so you can split up in sections and know how to proceed step by step on each of these platforms. Each of these links that you see is either a class or a homework assignment. We offer interactive assignments. They're actually graded by instructors. So you can click on a class here, for example, customizing your Twitter page class. This opens up the video in a window, and these videos are viewable on mobile devices. You can see these on the go. They're also they work perfectly here on your desktop or laptop computer. And all you have to do is just click play, and this little 3-4 minute video will play. And this is a specific bite-sized bit of information that talks about one particular topic. In this case, customizing your Twitter page. And scattered throughout, as I mentioned, we also have assignments. So the assignment that follows customizing your Twitter page is the set up a Twitter account assignment. And all you have to do is set up the account. We walk you through it, and then you set it up and send us back a screenshot and your username, and we check to grade it and make sure that you've completed it and give you a grade and feedback. We also have an exam that accompanies each course, as well as a final exam for those students who are enrolled in the Master Social Media Certification. We do have individual certificates available for Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn, individual platforms on a one-off basis, but this current example student that I'm showing you now is logged in as she's a Master Social Media Certification student, so she has access to all 5 of these major platforms. In addition to these 5 platforms, we have individual certificates that also cover Pinterest, Yelp, and Instagram coming soon. Instagram is being worked on now, will be available as a certificate later in the spring, early summer. And so those are available only to people who sign up as individual certificate enrollees, as well as people who enroll in our continuing education program. But again, this is I'm giving you a lot of information about our program. I just wanted to really show you what it looks like so you sort of get a feel for it. We cover this much more in depth, and I slow down my talking tomorrow, each Wednesday at the same time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time, US, and we go into much more detail there. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the main Hangout page so that you can see me. You're not just staring at a still screen there. Come back over here. There we go. That was sort of the whirlwind tour again of our social media certification program. If you have any questions, I'm going to stay online for a couple seconds here, and you're welcome to put your question in on Google+. If you're watching on YouTube or on our website, what you'll need to do first is switch over to Google Plus to ask a question. It's very easy to do. There should be on YouTube, again, there's a little overlay that says something like click to join this broadcast live, click to join live. That will open up Google Plus. And if you're already on Google Plus, from there you'll see at the top of the screen a little tic-tac-toe-like icon. It's got 9 little white squares. Clicking that will open up a short little menu. One of those options is Q&A, and that'll open up a Q&A panel. Clicking on Q&A will open up a Q&A little panel on the side of your screen, and you can submit your question there. We're available by email, support@splashmediau.com. All of our contact information, including that email address and our phone number, are on our website, so feel free to get in touch anytime. We're happy to talk to you about your social media strategy, your campaigns, brainstorm a little bit with you, walk you through the program. All of our tours, in case you're not available tomorrow, all of our tours are available in archive form on our YouTube channel. You can go week by week and you can see each tour that we do. We do a little update on the school and a longer form of the orientation that we just covered briefly just now. And again, those are on YouTube, youtube.com/splashmediau. Again, thank you so much. Looks like we don't have any live questions now, but thank you so much for spending some time with us on this Tuesday. Feel free again to join us tomorrow, same time, for an extended orientation plus a couple of updates. And we'll certainly keep you posted about the next webinar where we cover some more tactics in the future. Thanks again, and enjoy the rest of your day.